Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Hello, guys. In this video, we are going to be doing a review of the Republican candidates running for president and how they are running their campaign. So we have a little tier list for you today.
Yeah, so we're going to be going in order of relevance, in kind of in an order of most likely to win to least likely to win. But also looking at their campaigns, how they've campaigned, how good their campaign team has been moving, how their rhetoric has been going, and honestly, just the momentum of their campaign. Some candidates are doing not so well, but they've been improving a lot more. And there's a big difference between a good campaign and a campaign that's ahead, or a bad campaign and a campaign that's behind. So
Mhm.
let's go ahead and get into it with the Donald, the one and only Donald.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, of course, Donald Trump starts in a strong position as the front runner. A
Hmm.
former president naturally is going to pull way ahead of all the other people. So right now he's pulling at 53.9%. And I would say, I mean, his campaign is going great. I mean, like DeSantis got it like decently close in that period right after the midterms. But after that, he's just kind of fallen off, and ever since then, Trump's just been riding the wave of his indictments, like of support, and like he's been using those really well to his advantage. He's raised a ton of money off the criminal indictments, and he's gotten his polling up from it as well. So I mean, I don't know. I think I would say him turning what should be a weakness into a strength is really good for him.
Yeah, I think Trump's probably, maybe he's not an S tier, but I think he's maybe A plus for me. He's ran a solid campaign. He hasn't made any major mistakes. Early on his campaign seemed a little shaky, but it seems like he kind of righted the ship. His indictments helped him, like you said, and he's improved to an almost insurmountable lead to the point where he doesn't even have to attend the debates. He's basically saying, I'm gonna win, so why even waste my time? And so I think maybe A is fair,
I
but what do you
actually
think?
I would argue I would argue S right here. I mean,
You think S off
I
the
mean, like,
bat?
no, because everyone's like afraid to attack him on
It's
the
true.
indictments.
It's
He's
true.
he's used them to boost his poll numbers, and then on top of that, unlike in 2016 when he was like struggling with working with state parties and stuff, he has a base now. He has like an army of
True.
people who support him, and he's been using that to his
All
advantage. So
right,
I
let's
would
go
argue
S
S.
tier.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Trump's 2016 campaign would be considered S tier because of how he kind of manipulated the media to always have him there on
Oh
the
yeah, I
front
guess that's
page.
true.
I think the 2024 campaign is certainly weaker than that. And I don't know. Okay, we can put him as. Maybe we'll figure it out once we do everyone else, right? So Ron DeSantis, probably the most laughable campaign that's been on the headlines. He had a really good chance over here, especially going into 2023, off his 20-point win in Florida. Right here, you can kind of see DeSantis shooting up because of how Republicans thought he would be the next electable Trump. And he was even ahead in the betting odds at some points. He was the man, the myth, the legend, Ron DeSantis. Now, recently, though, after the Trump indictments, after a lot of negative press in the conservative circles, hating on DeSantis for being such a strong challenger to Trump, Trump's mobilized the conservative media against him. He's got all his allies everywhere talking bad about DeSantis. DeSantis can't even pull the moderate crowd because he's been trying to pander towards Trump voters, which doesn't work when Trump is in the race. And so he's kind of alienated all the moderates who are looking for new people, such as Nikki Haley or Vivek. And now he has kind of got this kind of slim base of previous DeSantis supporters that are kind of sticking with him. And he's kind of back to his 2022 numbers.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like he has really fumbled the bag
Yeah,
Man was polling almost tied with Trump in some polls,
yeah,
uh, post midterms.
especially
But yeah,
state polls.
yeah, and he's been like he's just completely ruined it. He moved too far to the right and lost all the moderates who wanted him for his electability. And that's a big problem. And on top of that, trying to defend, some of the laws and policies enacted in Florida doesn't really help him, especially with his like extreme stances on abortion and trying to defend the so-called positives of slavery. That doesn't really look good if you're,
Yeah.
running for president. And then, of course, like in terms of state parties, I mentioned this in like prior videos, but he hasn't really been reaching out to them as much and working with them. And yeah, it's really just hurt him in the polls and over again. You see people like looking for alternatives. And some and as you can see in the polling, like turning or just turning to Trump. So yeah, I think I would argue it's an F tier so far, unless he turns it
Correct.
around
I
soon.
agree. He previously only went for these like sharp policies that would make it into the media, that had wide support from many moderates, independents, like his transgender policies, not letting transgender students go into the other than their biological sexes sports and all this other stuff that people supported. Now he's going for a lot more extreme, abortion bans from his 15-week that was pretty much widely supported down to his 6-week ban. It's just not looking good for him. So
Yeah.
he's moving too far. And F tier, probably the worst candidate's campaign in my opinion.
Mm.
Next, we'll go to Mike Pence, who is an interesting character. He is running for president after being the former vice president. And honestly, that is a pretty strong position to start in. Joe Biden did that. But if Joe Biden ran with Obama in the race, Joe Biden wouldn't really have a chance.
That's
And this
true.
is kind of what we're seeing with Mike Pence. Maybe he should have, maybe if he wanted to be president, he probably would have had to done the wrong thing on January 6th, right? Or he would have had to do something like win the 2020 election with Trump and then ran in 2024. That was his path, and honestly, I think he missed it. Pence has a very kind of tight window because he's got to keep that Trump support while kind of
Mhm.
saying I did the right thing, and he's got to double down because if he doesn't double down, he loses all his supporters. His current supporters are hard conservatives that believe he did the right thing on January 6th, right? And it's really hard to do that when most Republican Party thinks he did the wrong thing and he's running for the Republican nomination for president. I think he's run an okay campaign. He's done his absolute best, but I think he honestly fumbled on January 6th, 2020. He obviously did the right thing on January 6th, 2021, but he fumbled his campaign on
Yeah.
that day. So I would give him a C tier.
Yeah, when the Republican Party, like when 70% of them, 60 to 70% believe the 2020 election is stolen, when you don't really buy into that, it doesn't really help you because it cuts off a lot of your potential voters. Like I'm seeing polls now where like 40% of Republicans are saying, "Oh, I'll never vote for Pence." That's a very not good place to be in when you're running for president. And I honestly like, yeah, Pence doesn't really have many people to appeal to at all. Like, I don't really see how he can win it. Like, and right now, I wouldn't say he's running the best campaign either, personally, because as of right now, he hasn't even made the first debate. Like, he hasn't met he's met the polling requirements. He's polling in fourth, but he hasn't met the donor requirements, and that looks really bad when you're a former vice president not meeting the donor requirements, and you have senators doing that, and Vivek Ramaswamy doing that, and Doug Burgum, who the heck knows who he is doing that. So I honestly, I would say like C or F for Pence here. He's not doing
I
that
think he
well.
hasn't done as poorly as DeSantis, so that's why I'm giving a C, honestly. If DeSantis wasn't here, I'd probably give him an F, but I think we should put him in C for now because
Okay, I think it's
he
fair.
hasn't fumbled like DeSantis. Like he's kept a decently solid 6-7%. It's not that bad. So all right, I guess we should go to Vivek Ramaswamy next. Vivek has been an interesting character. He's described as the Republican version of Andrew Yang. He brings some new new things to the table. And now he's polling in third, which is a big achievement. He has passed Haley, he's passed Scott, he's passed Christie and Pence, he's passed all those people who were established Republicans. He's gone from a no-name, absolute nobody in the Republican sphere or political sphere in general to a well-known name in Republican circles, and even discussed as a potential Trump vice presidential pick. And that's because he's quite charismatic. He's got a likable personality. He's very well spoken, and he has interesting new ideas, which I think most of the American public are looking for. People are looking for candidates with new things to say. They are pretty fatigued with the general Trump Biden, two option thing, and they want some new faces. And Vivek brings all of that to the table. He's brought ideas like raising the voting age. That's his kind of defining feature, raising the voting age to 25 with exceptions of military, first responders, and people who pass a civics test from 18 to 25. And then he's got his kind of anti-woke, social governance from all these companies. He's kind of fighting against this like woke thing. And Republicans are into that. They love the anti-woke agenda. And they're looking for someone to turn to with that anti-woke agenda that's not DeSantis, because like I said, DeSantis has horrible campaigning so far, and he's kind of been just shunned by the conservative figures. So people have turned to Vivek. He's gone on many shows. He's had good interviews, and I think he's arguably another S. I mean, he could be an A, but I think he's arguably another S. He's gone to third place from absolutely nothing.
You know what? I mean, I could see he's definitely up there, A or S for sure. In terms of his campaigning, like he's been like whirlwinding around the early primary states,
Correct.
getting his name out there. You see him in the news, like pretty frequently, like on interviews and stuff. So he's getting his name out there. And he's not like, I mean, he's not like, I wouldn't say he's like a Pence-like candidate where he separates himself from Trump. He's sticking to the Trump side of the base, like pretty well. And him doing that is what's been helping been behind his surge in the polls. And he's doing it really well. I will say, he is bringing new ideas to the table, kind of like, yeah, as you said, the Andrew Yang-esque candidate. Yeah, I really agree. Yeah, and his poll numbers just kind of show his rise from nothing to something. To third, he's like right now he's second in the betting odds, like above DeSantis even. So
Wow.
I think, yeah, like he's at like 17 cents and DeSantis
Wow.
is at
That's
16. So
massive. I
yeah,
think that deserves an S, honestly.
yeah. I mean, from considering like he started at like just like with money, like that was it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was just another millionaire, but now he's up there. So I'll
Yeah.
give it. He did it well. He's running a
Yeah.
good
And he's
campaign.
not like Bloomberg who just, did absolutely nothing. So yeah, 5% from absolutely nothing in politics is huge, honestly. So we'll order everything later at then, by the way. So Tim Scott, you want to give Tim Scott a
Oh
go?
yeah, I mean, yeah, Tim Scott. I mean, I think he's doing pretty solidly. I mean,
Yeah.
he's kind of. I mean, senator from South Carolina. He has a lot of money on him from his 2022 campaign, so he's been using that. And he's been really. I feel like he's doing a good job of getting his name out in Iowa and New Hampshire. Like a few recent polls show him polling like I mean, not second, but like third there, which is like pretty decent. Um, yeah, I mean, I would say like, and another thing like I always hear about Tim Scott's campaigning is that it's always like optimistic. Like it's never like, oh, our country's going to collapse if I don't win. Like, he's always like, he always looks on the bright side, and I think that's a very like appealing. Kind of nice way to campaign, and I think that appeals to voters too. And I feel like it's been helping him a little bit, just kind of stay up there. I think it's decent. I'd put him in A tier, honestly.
Yeah, he's like a minus B plus character. He's not super special like Vivek, but he's handling himself pretty well. And I think looking at the other candidates, he's done quite a bit better than them. He's in a solid second, and he's kind of in this middle of the pack group with Pence and Haley. And I think out of those three, though, he has probably the best chance to actually capture the nomination. Even though he's all the way in sixth, right? I think he has a wider base to get. He's kind of able to capture the entire Republican base if he tried, let's say Trump and DeSantis weren't running. I think he has a really good shot. And so
And
yeah,
yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah,
yeah,
something
go
I
ahead.
also have been hearing about Scott is like the donor class of Republicans, like they usually want to are trying to back DeSantis, but since DeSantis has fallen off a bit, I heard they're looking more toward Tim Scott as like a potential alternative to Trump. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. Right now he's doing pretty okay. Mhm,
Okay, let's go to Nikki Haley, right?
mhm.
Should I
Yeah, yeah,
take
yeah.
it?
Go ahead.
All right, so Nikki Haley is, she has a pretty good resume, I would say, right? She's former governor, she's former ambassador under Trump, which does kind of add a little bit to it. And Nikki Haley's polling right now in fifth, right? Nikki
Yes.
Haley is, also the only woman, right, currently in the race for the Republicans. And I don't think that really adds much. And she kind of has another narrow base. She's kind of like Scott. And I think she's ran kind of an under the radar campaign for me right now. She's not really showing up in the headlines or anything. And it's kind of just for me. I think it's just a B or a C. I mean, there's not much to talk about.
Yeah, personally, I do think she did make a little bit of a splash in the beginning, when she first entered the race. But yeah, ever since then, like she hasn't really gotten herself out there as much as the other candidates. Like I feel like I don't really see her in the media as much as the other candidates we've listed so far. Even though she's like polling pretty decently, like I mean, like on the level of Tim Scott, like decently is like 3 or 4%. But I mean, yeah, I mean, she does have like those advantages of being, a former governor of one of the early Republican primary states. But yeah, not really a standout campaign. I would put it average at B right now.
All right. Well, I'll just put her in B. She's definitely better than Pence.
Hmm.
All right. Larry Elder.
Larry
All
Elder.
right.
Okay, let's. I just want to point out this man isn't even registered on RCP's average. That's how low he's polling. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he did have a little something going, like, when he was running against, like, I mean, he ran against Newsom in 2021. He kind of got his name out there then. But yeah, running for president, he really hasn't gotten his name out there at all. And the only headline I've seen on him was like, oh, he's running for president, just another dude. Like, yeah, there's nothing really. I would say F, honestly. There's just nothing.
F.
Yeah. It's just
All right.
there's just
Yeah.
nothing.
I think we're kind of moving over to the joke candidates at this point. Let's go to Chris Christie. I mean, Chris Christie, hopefully he's been on his weight loss journey.
Oh
I
God.
I think that that's gotta be done, to be honest. But Christie's kind of this moderate figure. He was on Trump's team before. He was kind of, this pro-Trump candidate. Now he's like not really. He's kind of going for the moderate lane now that DeSantis has vacated it, and he's kind of focusing all his eggs into the New Hampshire basket, trying to get some momentum there when that happens. I think he's going to be a disruptor maybe in the debates, but he's not
Yeah.
going to do much. And his campaign's not the worst ever, but it's probably just a C. It's kind of just a
I would
C.
actually argue I mean, I feel like, yeah, as you said, I feel like he's more of a disruptor candidate. Of any candidate, I think who could shake up the race the most, it's him. Because if there's any shot Trump falls from the top spot, I feel like it could be because of Christie, like hitting a really good line on him, like he eviscerated Marco Rubio, maybe bring down his polls a little bit. And he's really I feel like he's done a good job of, being the main anti-Trump candidate. Um, and he's always, I mean, for like he's always on CNN, like he's always in the media. He's been getting that media spotlight. I think he's been doing a pretty decent job of that, and he made the debate, so I'll give him that. I wouldn't say he's doing as bad as Pence. I wouldn't say he's doing below average, but like for the position he's in, I would give him a B because I mean he is getting the media attention. He did make the debate, unlike Pence. So yeah, I would actually put him in B tier here.
All right. I guess we can give him a kind of a low B. All right, let's go over to the Asa, the Asa, the Hutchinson boy.
Hmm.
He's from Arkansas. He's kind of this weird character that I think is just a flopper. I think we just put him F and move on. Just a flopper. Just a flopper.
F. I mean, I feel it's kind of. I mean, he's trying. He did make the polling
And failing.
requirements. Yeah, yeah, you're right. He did make the polling requirements
I
for the
mean, I
debate. I'll
mean,
say.
he's at 0.6. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
at least make 1% to make it out of the F tier, I think.
I mean, I guess that's true.
You're a
Yeah. I mean,
governor
yeah.
and you
He's
aren't out of 1%. I mean, Haley is like, you got to do better than 1%, man. This is,
actually. Yeah. I mean, I think that is fair.
I think most of these are F's. The
Yeah,
following
I
few are
think he's
just
trying for
F's.
the anti-Trump lane, but like Christie already took it, so I think it's like, yeah, not really going anywhere. Okay, I think that's fair.
All right.
Uh,
The
Doug Burgum
last
next.
few, I think are also just F's. I mean,
I would
Burgum maybe a C. Burgum maybe a
a
C.
C, but actually, I would say Burgum is doing better than expected. I would put him at like,
He's
I
still
don't
at
know.
point six. He's still at point six though.
Yeah,
You
he's still
got to
point
keep that in
0.6,
mind.
but he made the debate and Pence didn't.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's a C though. He's definitely not on the same level as Haley. There's no way.
But it's like, dude,
There's
I
no
I
way he's
think
on the same
this
level as
guy's
Haley.
this guy's big braining it, bro. He's asking people for a dollar donation in exchange for the dollar, he'll give them 20. So that way he makes the donation requirements. So he's working his way up there. He made the debate stage while having a low name profile as the governor of North Dakota. I actually, could that warrant a B? I feel like that could warrant a B. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Because I mean, he ran a good enough campaign to make the debates. That I feel like that puts him ahead of Pence. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of campaign running, right?
All right. Maybe we can move him ahead of Pence, but I think he's a C. I still think he's a C.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he is struggling to get his
He's
name out
still
there
a
still
C. I mean,
compared
there's
to
no
other
way he's a
candidates.
B. You got to at least get 1% for a B. I think Will
Okay,
Ferd
B is
and
like average though, right? I mean, I don't know.
he's not average. He's not
Okay, yeah,
average.
he's not gonna win. Okay, fine,
No.
fine, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Will Hurd and Francis Suarez, I think, are also Fs. They haven't done much. They're
No,
still
Will Hurd
polling
came in.
horribly.
Will Hurd, I've seen him in the news a little bit, but
Just
like
an F.
he's
Just all
he's
Fs.
he's not making the yeah like he came in too late, I think. Like, and I think Christie again kind of took his spot as the anti-Trump candidate. Like he's like a moderate Republican. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's not great. Would it is it that much of an F though? Like it's still really early for him. Like, I mean, yeah. I guess it could be an F. Maybe I don't know. I can see it being a C. Suarez, on the other hand, yeah, like he used to be on the R his he used to be on the RCP tracker, and then they replaced him with Hurd. So yeah, that guy. Um, I think that's fair. Putting
Yeah. All right.
Suarez down
Let's
there.
order this. I think Trump knows how to play a lead, and he definitely deserves a top spot. Obviously, he's ahead, right?
Hmm.
Vivek jumped from nothing to somebody, and even Trump, maybe Trump VP. I think that deserves a lower S. Scott,
I mean,
I
Scott's
think
in the A tier,
I think
rocking it.
Scott, honestly, if he wasn't like, if this was some other year, he could be a B. He could be. He's not something special, but compared to everyone else, he's an A, which is pretty sad. Haley and Christie, they're just mid.
Yeah, Haley needs to work better on getting on people's radar and
Burgum's
getting on the media.
kind of trash, but he didn't make the debate, so we're giving him a C, and Pence didn't, and Pence deserves a C because he's had a really tough lane, honestly, right now. He can't do anything about it, and the fumbler DeSantis and the joke four, we could call them the joke four.
Yeah, I
So
mean, DeSantis is just like the most gruesome fall from grace I've ever seen. Like, holy hell, yeah, that's brutal. I mean, I don't know, like yeah, that was that's just harsh. Like watching him fall like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like after he has to do good in this debate. If he does bad, then yeah, he might just be the next Jeb Bush. Mm.
But I mean, Jeb was winning at the beginning. DeSantis was never in the lead, so
I mean, I guess,
you
but
know.
he got it pretty close.
All
He had
right,
a surge and then
sure.
crashed at the mercy
I
of Trump.
guess. All right. This is our final tier list. I think we just got to end the video. Trump Vivek S, Scott A, Haley Christie B, Burgum Pence C, and DeSantis and the joke 4 in F. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Like this video. Check out this Grand Canyon tour, not sponsored. And comment down below, subscribe, hit the bell. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
and of
watching.
course, guys, yeah, share with your friends. Get the
We
2024
know you
hype
have
going.
a lot of
Continue.
friends.
You know people. We know you know
All
people.
right.
Share the video.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.